Thank you for coming to our String Pumpkins Take and Make program. We'll go over what's in the bag first before we go over exactly how to make the craft. So you're going to get String Pumpkins Take and Make program instruction sheet. Tells you what's in the bag. You're going to get a pair of gloves, some pipe cleaners for the stems, a plastic fork, the yarn for the different colors, 3 balloons, glue, and gloves, which I said already. Okay, so the important thing about this before you get started, it is messy, so you're going to want to make sure you wear something that can get glue on it, and definitely put either newspaper or a bag or a tablecloth that can get glue drippings on it before you get started, because it will drip. So you will also need to hang your string pumpkin, which this is one that I started already. Since I'm not at home, I can't show you what I did, but I just hung it on a cabinet doorknob in my kitchen and put newspaper underneath it to dry. This will take about 1 to 2 days to fully dry. Do not remove it before it is dry, because it will cave in and it won't work. So you definitely have to wait till it's dry. I'll show you what it looks like. But for the time being, we have set up this stand here that we will use to do one. I'll just show you how to do one pumpkin, and obviously it's the same for all 3. And let's go from there. So you will also need extra glue. So all this glue is regular school glue, Elmer's, regular craft glue. You can get that at the dollar store. You can go to Walmart and get it, or any craft store, relatively cheap. So if not, you can do a 1-to-1 solution as well. So if you have, we gave you this much glue, you can empty it into a bowl, obviously that you will not use again, for crafts, and do a 1-to-1 solution. So pour it out and then fill up with water and then mix it really well. I personally don't like doing that just because it just dries better a little bit, I think, without being diluted. But you can do that also if you just don't have glue on hand. So what we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to put on my gloves because it is messy, but relatively easy. So I'm just going to put one glove. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and blow with the balloon. Now it depends on the size. As you can see from the samples, I did a large balloon and like a medium sized one. You can do, I wouldn't go larger than this, to be honest with you, unless you have more yarn. But this is the larger size pumpkin. So it depends if you want to do all small ones. For this, I will just do a small one so you can see. It is really hard to blow up. Don't pass out when you're doing it. Okay, so we're gonna just tie it. Okay, so this is really tiny. It's a tiny little pumpkin. So we're going to go ahead, tie a piece of string around the stem to hang. It's a little hard with the glove on. Why does it have to be? You don't have to worry about this because you're going to pop the balloon anyway. Okay, and then you're going to want to, it's hanging. You have a scissor, just clip it off or just tie it, so it's not hanging on the balloon. Just put a little note. Okay, so then you're gonna hang it from the doorknob or wherever you have anything set up. Like I said, for this purpose, we're just gonna hang it up here. Okay, so now what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your string, okay, and I have some there. So it is time consuming, just so you know. I would dedicate at least a good half hour for this craft while you're doing it. So you're going to take one piece at a time. Let me put right in my napkin. I had a glove on. Okay. So you're going to go ahead and dip it in there. You're gonna make sure it gets completely covered. Now this is the part that's messy, okay? So it is messy. You're gonna take the fork and then you're just gonna, see how I'm doing it? You're gonna just run it through to get the excess glue off the string. Just through the tine, right there. You don't have to go crazy, okay? And then there is no rhyme or reason. You're just gonna place the string on the balloon and then just stick it on, okay? And I'm gonna use red just so you can see it because I chose the orange balloon. You can actually do a hybrid of all the three colors if you wanted to, You can do actually anything you want once you know the technique. So once again, I'm gonna just put that down there, get the string covered, and I'm gonna run the string through the fork tine to get all the excess glue off. Then I'm gonna take it, then haphazardly with no design, just coat the balloon with it, okay? So here we go. Now this is a part that takes a long time because it's each individual strand. And then we'll go ahead and do this. Okay. Remember to always put down paper, because it is messy. When I did this, I was standing up, so it was a little bit easier at height. But for the recording purposes, I'm sitting. But it's the same principle. Now, you see how some pieces hang? Don't worry about that because in the end, you can always just, pat them on so they lay flat. And you're thinking to yourself, how is this going to look when it's dry? It's going to look like that. So I'll do a few more. Because this is pretty much the technique for all three. So you're gonna dip it in the glue, take it out, find the bottom, the end of the strand, and just run it through the fork. If you feel like you're not getting enough off, just run it through again. You want to leave a fair amount of glue on the string so it holds up, And then you're just gonna, like I said, there's no rhyme or reason. There's overlapping. Don't worry if the edges come off because you will pat it down when you're done. To be honest with you, at the end, I did take my gloves off because it got to be in the way. At the very, very end, not during this process, when I was patting it down. It just made it a little bit easier. I mean, it is glue. Once it dries, just peel it off. But it's entirely up to you. Okay. So, wrap it around. Like I said, do not worry if those strings do this because you just put them right back. Pat them down and it will stick. So. And again, the important part is to leave enough glue on the string, but not too much. So, just make sure it's not dripping, but it's coated. feel like it's too much, just, you know, go through it again. Right down the fork, have extra glue, and then, now obviously the bigger the balloon that you blow up, the more spacious it will be, because, you know, unless you get more, unless you have yarn at home that you want to use. But I would use a medium size. Like I said, this one's going to be smaller. It's going to be smaller than this, so it should be fairly wrapped. The bigger one is less wrapped, which I'll show you in a sample that I did. Because I like to have different sizes, but all right. Okay, so the time lapse, hopefully you fast forwarded through all that. So this is what it looks like in the end, all right? I have a few strands left to put on, but for this sake, I will just leave it. So as you can see, it doesn't look like much now, but you're gonna let it dry for about 1 to 2 days. I would say good 2 days. It's a little heavy, you just leave it, and it will drip. Just so you know, so I would place something underneath it to catch the drippings. This is one that I started earlier. It's in the process of drying. So it looked like this with the white glue, and you're going, oh God, you know, but the glue dries, and you can see here, this part's not dry yet, so you'll see that it's still white, and then, you know, the more it dries, the less white glue you'll see. Now this is very important, this part. So once it's completely dry, what you're going to do, now I'll do a few, you know, up here. You're going to need to separate the balloon from the dried string before you pop the balloon. So I would get something, you know, that you have, like a pen, or you can even use a pipe cleaner, not the sharp part. So just you bend it up a little and just gently press down. I'm sure you can hear that. So you're gonna separate the balloon from it's a little satisfying to do this actually. So you just separate and make sure you get all of it, okay? And then you just do that in all the places you can. And you see I'm pressing pretty hard and it's not popping, so just make sure it's not sharp, whatever you're using, you know? Okay, so you can hear it, it's crinkly from the glue. I'm just gonna go pop, pop. And you make sure you do this for the whole thing. I'm not gonna pop it because it's not completely dry yet. But, well actually I can pop it and I'll show you what it looks like if you try to do this without it drying first. So, you know, let me just make sure I get most of it. So it's dry on top, right? And as you can see, I'm separating it. So then you're gonna just pop it, okay? So I just took the sharp edge of this. And what happens is, because it's not completely dry, it's still sticking to the deflating balloon and it's not holding its shape. If it's completely dry, it will hold its shape, such as these two samples, and then you'll just take the balloon out, you know, from the top of the string. See how I'm able to do that? But because it wasn't completely dry, it looks like this, unfortunately. So that's what happens if you're impatient and you won't let it dry completely, all right? So I wouldn't suggest that because it takes a lot of time to do this. So have a little patience, make sure it's completely dry. You'll be able to feel it, you know what I mean? And you'll see it too. So Once you have it, not that one, but completely dry, you're gonna take your string. So you're gonna have brown string, and then what I did is I just used a fork and I just twirled around the fork, but you can actually just twirl it around your finger, and tighten it up a little bit just to make that little curly thing. And then you can just wrap it around the pumpkin and tie it, so it's like this. And then the green, you'll just do the same thing and wrap it around. I just threaded it through. So you'll see there's a little bit of glue, and you can easily just get something sharp and just remove it and tighten it up a bit, and voila, you have your 3 little pumpkins for the fall. You can place them in a bowl, decorate it, put them on a mantle, put some leaves around it. It's a very cute and easy project. It just takes some time, and don't let this happen to you. Let it completely dry. But the important step is to let it hang, let it dry, and then make sure you separate the balloon from the string by pressing it in, and then popping it and pulling it out. And I hope you enjoyed the craft, and I hope you make many more. And if you have any questions, give us a call or come in. We'll be happy to help you. All right, thank you so much. Bye.